So good evening. Welcome to the Friday Study Circle. And here we share the words of mainly Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. And, in a study circle, it's a very expanding experience because often on our own, we are not able to delve into so many different topics or viewpoints. And here we have, the blessing to do that. So I'm really grateful and I'm thanking on this note of gratitude. So I will request Captain to please share what he has to for this week's sharing. Yeah, anything that he would want to share with us. Thank you, Captain.
I was reading this stories from the mother. This the topic is the let your psychic being guide you. Let your psychic being guide you. Uh, I'll just read first. Then probably we'll discuss. This question is there on the top. You have said that in a previous life we were together, but if we had not done yoga, could not we have met all the same? Then mother replies, not necessarily. I remember the circumstances, yes. Uh, uh, Not necessarily. I remember the circumstances in which I said that it was to a lady who had come here and asked me how it was that she had come here. This is true in a general way when those born scattered over the world at a great distances from one another are driven by circumstances or by an impulsion to come and gather here. It is almost always because they have met in one life or another, not all in the same life, and because their psychic being has failed that they belong to the same family. So they have taken an inner vow to continue to act together and collaborate. That is why, even though they are born far from one another, there is something which compels them to come together. It is the psychic being, the psychic consciousness that is behind. People meet and recognize each other only to the extent that they become conscious of their psychic being, obey their psychic being, are guided by it. Otherwise, there is all that comes into opposite, all that veils, all that stupefies, all those obstacles to prevent you from finding yourself in your depths and being able to collaborate truly in the work. You are tossed about by forces of nature. There is only one solution to find your psychic being, and once it is found, to cling it desperately, to let it guide you step by step, whatever be the obstacle. This is the only solution. All this I did not write, but I explained it to that lady. She had put to me the question, how did I happen to come here? I told her that it was certainly not for reasons of the external consciousness. It was something in her inner being that had pushed her. Only, sorry. Only the awakening was not strong enough to overcome all the rest, and she returned to the ordinary life for very ordinary reasons of living. Outwardly, it was a funny thing that had made her come here. She was a young woman like others. She had been betrothed, betrothed, but not married. The man had broken off. She was very unhappy, had wept much, and that had spoiled her pretty face, dug wrinkles there. And when the heavy grief had gone, she was no longer so pretty. So she was extremely vexed. She consulted people whose profession is to make you look pretty. They advised her paraffin injections in the face. After that, you don't have wrinkles in any longer. She was injected with fat and instead of the desired effect, she had fatty lumps here and there. She was in despair, for she was uglier than ever. Then she met a charlatan, charlatan who told her that in England there was no means of restoring her pretty face. Go to India, there are great yogis there who will do it for you. That is why she had come here. The very first thing she told me was, "You see how my face is ruined. Can you restore my pretty looks?" I said no. Then she started putting me questions on yoga and she was moved. That day she told me, "I came to India to get rid of my wrinkles. Now, what you tell me interests me. But then why did I come? This is not the true motive that made me come here." I explained to her that there was something other than her external being and that it was her psychic being which had led her here. External motives are simply pretexts used by the psychic to realize itself. But she was quite a wonderful person. In the beginning, she had taken an attitude of benevolence and goodwill towards everything and everybody, even the worst scam. She saw only the good side. Then, as she stayed on, her consciousness developed. After a time, she began to see people as they were. So one day she told me, "Formerly, when I was unconscious, I thought that everybody was good. People seemed to be so nice. Why did you make me conscious?" I answered her, "Do not stop on the way, go a little further. Once one has begun yoga, it is better to go to the end." So this is the story. It's a beautiful story and very simple to understand. So I was trying to understand what is the psychic being. So I saw this article, that story, because she used to tell the stories to the gathering at times. So there are two volumes of this book I have. So there are a lot of interesting stories. So this was really about the psychic being. So I just now have some idea, actually some idea. I will not say that I know the whole psychic being, but it was quite interesting that how the persons are moving from one place to other place and getting connected, and nothing is lost. It may be life after lives, in the previous lives. You do not know whether it is one life or two lives or 10 lives, but it's kept intact. It's, whatever has been achieved, so that has been kept intact, and that's like in Bhagavad Gita they call this Atma. So it never dies, or it only transforms from one place to other place. The death is just like the changing the clothes and all this in the chapter 2 it has been told. So exactly the same way. So it's getting accumulated, and when it comes that now it is to be uh, we have to externally show it, or we have to get attached to the real being. So then they come together and it comes out, or people come to know in general. Like this lady, she came for some other purpose, but she got changed. She got changed by this psychic being, which was there inside. She didn't know actually. So after coming here, then it was established that yes, she was already had. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Captain. Such a simple story, and yet so deep. Even when I was pulling this up, you see, this is also so nice. Just this being this thing that we are conscious of only an insignificant portion of our being, right? Like it's just yeah, and that's so true, right? Like because a being we are not even connected much. It's just the external that we spend most of our lives in, and if we can slowly see that we can maybe something can change. It was so nice the way everything was there. Mm. There were so many things that I had liked, and now I can't. Yeah. You know how people talk about soul families and how they help each other. That was so evident here, that how they come together and yeah, families of being who come in groups. External motives are simply pretexts used by psychic to realize itself. But we just get lost in them, right? We don't go, we don't see the beyond. That's why, mother keep on saying to look at the complete story, right? Like even on the incarnate word, I think it's mentioned that if you actually want to know about a topic that Sri Aurobindo has written about, like, right? Like read everything he has written before you say that, okay, this is what he has written. And I think again, like, to where it ends, do not stop on the way, go a little further, go a little further. That is a never ending further, right? Because perfection is not the point, it's just more and more and more. Yes. So, please, anybody else who has anything?
Yeah, this I read long back, Taru, actually, Captain. Yeah, but yeah, after a very long years, you are sharing this. It's very beautiful now. Now also it looks very fresh and new because mother is telling that everyone, we all gathered. Yeah, there is a purpose and also there is a meaning to that gathering, no, actually. We are all now gathering from different parts of countries. Really, I could connect with that when you are reading that actually. And also that external reason, no, seems to be so silly reason actually. But wants to become beautiful. But how mother is, yeah, it's very beautiful, really. It's very touching also. Because she is the mother, she only can know actually. That inner being has brought her there actually. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
There's a
This
very
last,
famous.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
please.
No problem, no problem. Because the last paragraph I heard in Alugda's talk also, she mentioned about that. She said to mother, that lady said to mother, before I was very, positive and see only good qualities in others, but after start coming here and start doing it, I could see all the things. Why do you make me like that? And my mother told, it seems you go beyond that and see the oneness actually. Yeah, that is also very beautiful. Thanks for bringing this. Yeah, very simple. So though it's simple, it's profound. Yeah.
What Ramakrishna Paramahansa also, those are realized soul actually. Guru, they already, so they can see the person and they can understand that why that person has come to me. Because he has told at various occasions, there are 12 or 16 such disciples, they came initially. So he told them that you are in this group of Jesus Christ. And so two of them he told. Then three of them he has told that they were with Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya. And so in the previous life, actually, that realization was there. So they came together, actually. So they are all, so he could recognize, he could see that person like X-ray we take and we can see the bones, how the structure, where it is broken or something. And similarly, their eyes, their vision was something else. Like for mother also exactly the same thing. The lady, when she is asking the first question that can you cure me? She said no. So then the lady would have gone back. Said, okay, if you cannot do anything, so then why should I waste my time on this? Then when she spoke, then again this lady got changed. She said, this is also another way actually. So those are realized soul. They can see, actually they can see, they can see through and through, and they can guide that whatever we are seeking for, and they can show the path, actually which path you should follow. Thank you.
Taru, you want to tell something, no? Yeah.
Yeah, just two, three things actually now have come. I'll just briefly mention that. Like, I think, this thing that it said that how we are just focused on the external and we are not connected to our being. I think that is something that one must then now start to move beyond, right? Like try to see the more, the thing that is actually there. You know how that I was saying that Kabir Doha na कि साधु ऐसा चाहिए जैसे सुधा. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact ones. Like, he should just you should be the one who can focus on the main things, the things that in which you can progress, you can learn, and the frivolous things you can, let go. So as in, like, that thing that the husk flies and the main grain remains. But it's like it's a tragedy, I think, of our life that we are often not able to move beyond the external, right? Like Sri Aurobindo is saying that pain is the hammer of the god, and it has a purpose, right? Which is there to kind of break the shell so that you can be more. But we get so stuck in what happened, the event, the tragedy, oftentimes, that at times it takes lifetimes, right? Or maybe we are not able to get over the thing, and that's a tragedy, right? Like the whole life gone and where we don't know. So that was one of those things. And the soul family, I just wanted to say one thing. There was this conference by Nama, in which Dr. Debu had spoken, I think, about pain and something. I don't remember the topic. I'm so sorry. And in that, he had said that once you are ready for your soul family or for your connections, if you just will it, if you say that, okay, now I want to be connected to my, so that we can help each other move beyond. And then you just start looking whoever you get in and, get interaction with, like not interaction with, sorry, you get in touch with, you start considering that could he be the person type of a thing. And he had mentioned that how you feel light and there is no grasping and there is no trying to get that out of the person, this out of the person. You're just happy being with the person, and you just feel that, okay, yes, he can help you progress and you can help me progress. So it's actually he said it as a matter of factly, it's a fact that yes, they exist. Once you're ready for them, you can start seeing them, they'll come, and you can all kind of move. You can both or three or four can help in each other's progress. So if I can share more, you can message me if anybody is interested. I found it very interesting. So yeah, that was the thing. So anything, Nandini, Mayur, anything on what Captain had shared? I don't know when you guys had joined. Did you hear it or you had missed it? Yeah, heard it. Okay.
I heard it. Yes, yes.
Okay.
In fact, this morning, it's like about in 2016, there was this passage I had read, and it, sort of popped up again today. And I think I'll just read it. The mother says, if and when you said about the soul family and the connections that we make, if you are not alone and live with others, cultivate the habit of not externalizing yourself constantly by speaking aloud. And you will notice that little by little, an inner understanding is established between yourself and others. You will then be able to communicate among yourselves with a minimum of words, or even without any words at all. This outer silence is most favorable to inner peace, and with goodwill and a steadfast aspiration, you will be able to create a harmonious atmosphere which is very conducive to progress.
This was really nice. Would you mind reading it again? Because it wasn't in front, so I missed a few words.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't wait for you to I forgot about, sorry, Taru.
No, that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
So the
Like
first one,
Lita, yeah.
yeah. If you are not alone and live with others.
Yeah. Yes, please, if you could read it again. Thank you.
Can someone else read it? My husband's having a call on the
Yeah,
other.
yeah. Mayur, would you want to read it? Like, I don't know if you can unmute.
Yeah, I can
Thank
read
you.
it.
Yeah, perfect.
If you are not alone and live with others, cultivate the habit of not externalizing yourself constantly by speaking aloud. And you will notice that little by little, an inner understanding is established between yourself and others. You will then be able to communicate among yourself with a minimum of words or even without any words at all. This outer silence is most favorable to inner peace, and with goodwill and a steadfast aspiration, you will be able to create a harmonious atmosphere which is very conductive to progress.
Mm.
Should I continue or that's it?
Yeah, I think that's what she had basically read.
Okay. So there's this one thing that is bothering me right now. If you can share that again, Taru.
Yes, that's what is. Please.
So it says at the end, you will able to create a harmonious atmosphere which is very conductive to progress.
Conducive.
Conducive, sorry. So when we say progress, what are we referring here? I'm not sure I understand. Like progress in terms of what?
Yeah, this is the words of mother, na? Mother and Sri Aurobindo. So here the progress is basically, like it's like they talk about integral yoga, that about, what is the purpose of human birth, what all things one must do to achieve what, your soul was born for, what you were born for. So progress, as in, say, you are trying to achieve something, right? Every one of us is trying to be something, right? Or unbecoming or becoming, like it could be anything. So if for right now, say I have anger issues, and if I'm working on my anger issues, then my progress would be I probably would have less anger issues, or I might still have anger issues, but I would make peace with my anger. So whatever personally one would define as progress, whatever one's goal is, how that is even in our external worlds, that okay, I'm succeeding. So that's kind of a progress. But here it's progress towards one's own journey, that you'll progress further. So here she says that basically, he talks a lot about pausing in general. That how we just act, right? Like somebody says something, we'll revert. The other person says something, we'll just, it's like we don't even breathe. We already know, a lot of times it happens to me that say if I'm having an argument, especially with my partner, it's like, he hasn't even finished the sentence. And I know how, what I have to say to him to kind of stop him. So it's just, that's what she says, that don't do that, right? Because in that kind of a conversation or a life in which it's all just very reactive, very she said, he said, he did that, she did that, and this opportunity came and I didn't even see what it means and I just took it because it sounded good. So she's like, there's you can pause, you can take some time before you react, act, live. So then you'll live at a deeper level and you'll progress more in again the spiritual journey. That's what I feel she means. Please, anybody who would want to also and Mayur, if this if I've confused you further, you can let.
So when so I'm always confused with the word progress. So when we say progress, there must be definitely a destination to reach to, right? So I'm not sure what is that according to Mother or Aurobindo, if you can. just point something like what's the destination to
See, yeah,
exactly?
absolutely. So again, coming from my very limited understanding, but since you're asking me, I'm answering from where I stand. So basically, mother says that, her basic thing is make me an instrument of the divine, right? Like this is my prayer, this is my aspiration. It was mother's prayer and mother's aspiration that, make me a perfect instrument of the divine. Like it's like, how it's like it's a flute. So make me the flute, and the divine would just, when he'll blow, it's like the music would come. So I don't matter. The flute doesn't say, don't keep me here, don't keep me there, keep me clean. It's like it doesn't have its own happiness, its own sadness. It's just there so that, say Krishna can just play music in it. So that, according to me, is what would be progress towards that journey. And because we are not a flute, right? We don't accept being an instrument. We have so many ups and downs and issues and problems and conflicts and challenges. So this is like an unlearning. It's like an unbecoming in this path of yoga, on this path, that how do I become less so that I can become more, and I can actually serve the divine by being his instrument so that he can use me for the purpose of why I was sent here. So please, I would really appreciate if others would say something. That's a beautiful question, and we must, I think, share more.
And another thing is there actually, whatever your aim in life actually, and if you do it, I mean, according to as Taru also said, spiritually, if you combine that, whatever work you do, if you want to do have that progress, first that principle is without expecting anything, I mean demanding anything from that result actually, that is also will lead you to progress further. If there is, yeah, that is also there according to Gita, that is also there. Whatever you do in your life, the true progress from heart without having any expectations. That is also there. I don't know how to.
So, just to come back to it, today, in fact, I had the opportunity to listen to one of the recordings that we were sent by Live in Light, and it was a recording by Ajahn Chah. And so I think Mayur, I mean, all of us, this was one of the parts that really struck me, I think, in terms of the progress. So the Buddha has come to, in the forest, and he's, I think, he has attained some of his, what do you call it? He's enlightened, but he's still not there. So what happens is now he ultimately, in the physical sense, he decides to disrobe. But though he's in the forest, he thinks that if I disrobe, there will be, even the wilderness might not like it. While he's at it, then he is, reminded of one of the Jataka tales at that point of time. And what happens is, in this Jataka tale, there is a dog who, goes to the, he keeps seeing that the dog goes up to the ocean, wets his tail, and comes back again and, like sort of removes the water. Then again, after some time, he goes and again he comes back, and he does this couple of times. And the person who is watching this, he wonders that what is this? I think it is the Buddha only, but I'm not sure who is. So the person who is watching this says that, oh, what is it that you are doing? So the dog then replies that, my puppy has submerged into the ocean, and I'm trying to save it. So he keeps going and keeps coming back and wags his tail and lets the water out. So the person who then, he laughs a bit and he says, oh, but this is the ocean, how will it ever become dry and how will you save it? So that is the persistence that I think the Buddha was then reminded of this, and that is when then he finally disrobed and sat in his complete physical form. And I think that is the progress that we are, I understood from my this thing, that is the progress that we are all uh, going towards, to shed and to shed and to shed, and then to finally be able to come to that piece of being able to just as Taru said, no, becoming or unbecoming of it. I think that is the progress that for me I understood that way. Thank you.
Even you can type it incarnate word also, Taru, actually, about progress. There are so many things by mother.
Yeah, Mayur, once, it's like, are you asking that do we need to have a goal? Do we need to work towards something? Is it also, that was also part of your question, or?
So my question was basically towards inner journey. I
Mm,
understand our outer journey
mm,
until we are not to that certain point in our life. So we have to continue excelling in our outer journey, whether it's a career, whether it's a relationship, anything. We have to continue doing that until we reach a point in inner that those outer things doesn't matter. So yeah, I understand about the outer aspect we all have. It's just that I'm concerned about the inner part. So yeah, so you do something inertly, and you reach to a point. Then I'm at a point that I'm not sure like where I'm exactly going. So that's where I'm coming from. Like it's okay, like understand the inner progress, but where to?
I stopped hearing you. We have to, it's ended for me. Is it my connection or?
I think it just, I think the connection when. Yeah, Mayur, can you repeat that again? I mean, for Taru.
Yeah, I think I'm having issues with my connection. So I was saying I understand about the. Is it clear now, Taru? Is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah. I think, again, what's coming to me is, Mayur, that we all have something that we want, right? Like, it's a very simple, right? And it's so individual. Like, a definition or a proper goal might not be needed for somebody who doesn't have any goals, right? Who's just so maybe surrendered, who's just so like, yeah, whatever God wishes, if you're totally there, you might not need a progress or a path or, things to do. But because if we are not there yet, then we all have goals, right? Any type of goals. And whenever, even baby steps that, okay, for earlier on, I used to, whatever, again, I don't know why the anger thing is coming to me, that I used to lash out or do whatever. And now, if I don't or if I do less, that's progress. So anything that's making me lighter, simpler, I would say is progress. Like it's, I feel it's very simple. Yeah. So,
Yeah, because today in India there's this fast that everyone does. So my mother is fully religious, so there's this fast that happens today, and she's happy in that, all the texts and all the rituals there are. But when it comes to me, I question everything. So that's what I don't know. So you cannot question anyone's journey, and it's just different. And yeah, I'm not at this moment I'm not sure what exactly the destination is, because I see some people, they are dissatisfied with the religious rituals and scripts and other things. For me, I'm not satisfied with that. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think a very major destination is also needed. You know, if you have it, have it. You don't, you don't. But at least we know where do I want to go next, right? Where do I want to go next, or where what can I work towards now? Just that I think would say is progress for me if I'm able to do that, or say, like, we talk about looking at the faults of our in our lives, right? So it's not that we know things, that prayer that we had shared that you resonated with on Wednesday. So again, like, I know I don't know, and yet, in my not knowing, I try to know things, and that's all right. That's good, because I have to do something rather than doing things that don't matter at all, going to weddings and I don't know, keeping fast, for example, not saying it's not a bad thing, but not a good thing, sorry. But yeah, anything that I can do. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Nandini, for joining in.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Atil, would you have something to say on this right now, or shall we move on?
I jumped in a bit late to have the full idea of what the topic is. I understand progress is being talked about.
Yes, so Mayur just asked what is progress? Like, just personal definitions, or according to Ma and Sri Aurobindo, if you have anything you want to add to that.
Oh, well, the only thing that comes in my mind right now is with a big smile, because in 2001, I was in Oroville with my husband. He was still alive then. And when we left, this cannonball tree had dropped one of its fruits. And cannonball is the symbol for progress. So I was pictured with my husband under the tree in Oroville with this cannonball and with my husband. So it's really, with the word progress, I get a smile and a good feeling, but I do not have a definition or a word. It's just a nice picture in my heart. That's all. Thank you.
That's a beautiful example, right? Anything that makes me, like you said, you just feel good, right? You just have a good
Yeah.
feeling in your heart, and that is progress, right? Because
Yeah.
at the end of it, anything and everything that we are doing is for a little peace, it's for a little joy, right? What
Yeah.
else, right? Each and everything we do is, yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm. I think we'll move on now, if that's all right. And if whoever wants to go next with their sharing can kindly share now. Thank you.
I'll go through.
Yes.
Yeah, this is from actually it's Collected Works of Mother, Volume 7 and 8. And she answered for the questions from Synthesis of Yoga. And I will read that first line, because this started like this. Mother shows the white chambak flower she is holding in her hand. She was named the flower Psychological Perfection. Yeah. I'm not going to read this fully because there are so much, but there is so much, but I will read some of the important which I felt, because she gave the name for this chambak flower, and also I will read, she gave some meaning also, and I will read from here, but there is you can start from this line, otherwise the same thing only, but I'm skipping so many things actually. But there is another movement which should constantly accompany devotion. You should go further, yeah. There is another movement. Yeah, this one, yeah. But there is another movement which should constantly accompany devotion, that kind of sense of gratitude that the divine exists, that feeling of a marveling thankfulness which truly fills you with a sublime joy at the fact that the divine exists, that there is something in the universe which is the divine, that it is not just the monstrosity we see, that there is the divine exists. And each time that the least thing puts you either directly or indirectly in contact with the sublime reality of divine existence, the heart is filled with so intense, so marvelous a joy, such a gratitude as of all things as the most delightful taste. Next paragraph also, there is nothing which gives you a joy equal to that of gratitude. One hears a bird sing, sees a lovely flower, looks at a little child, observes an act of generosity, reads a beautiful sentence, looks at the setting sun. No matter what, suddenly this comes upon you. This kind of emotion, indeed so deep, so intense, that the world manifests the divine, that there is something behind the world which is the divine. So I find that devotion without gratitude is quite incomplete. Gratitude must come with devotion. Just I will stop with this. Yeah, I want to share something about this gratitude actually. Yeah, devotion was there with me for a long time because I used to follow, as he told, no, now he shared those religious rituals and devotion with bhakti movement and all. So the devotion was there, but this gratitude, no, even though I had gratitude, I mean, before I came to know about this path and all, I don't know the importance of that gratitude, that quality actually. After I started reading Mother's Sri Aurobindo's works only, I found that whole importance of gratitude, how it helps you to, yeah, to progress further, to advance further in the path actually. Because that gratitude is the one of the very important quality which opens the doors inside actually. In my experience, whenever I face any crisis or there are so many problems in life, the doubt arises and also those dry periods. But one thing, that gratitude was with me always actually. Even one part of the mind questioned my belief and my following of the principles of, I mean, this religious principle, or after I come to this path. But that gratitude always tells me whatever happened, there are lot of I mean, very good things also happened in life. Then well, how will you, I mean, bring that actually? How will you bring that gratitude? That quality will always question me actually. That time I didn't know this is gratitude. But after I come to know about this very important, Mother used to stress always this. She told a story also, I think, about this gratitude. I forgot that because, yeah, she mentioned about all the qualities, one angel. And this gratitude will come to that hall with a very shy, I mean, without showing itself actually, showing herself out, very shy, and she entered inside. So because people won't recognize that gratitude, they won't have that gratitude in life. So I feel this is a very important quality. If we adhere to this, all else will follow. Yeah. So I want to share this. And another thing is there here, if you share some
Is
more
it also about gratitude? Because maybe
no,
we can.
no, it
So
is
let's
not.
first, because it's so beautiful, the point. Maybe we
Yeah,
can take reflection.
yeah, we can take reflection and we will go afterwards. Yeah, it is about
Yes.
surrender. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Anybody who would want to share anything on about what you just shared, devotion, gratitude? I'll go and it's like I feel that it's like we have some mind space, right? Like we have this energy, and we cannot sit still with that energy. We have to do something. We have to think something, right? We have to be someone. So for me personally, I've seen that I can either be that who says that I don't have enough and I have too many problems, or I can be someone who says that, oh my God, I have too much already. Where do I thank? Who do I thank? Right? And because we live in such illusions that I can be anywhere I want to, right? Like if I am the person who says that, my God, how can you be so cruel? I will believe on it with 100%. I will become that person if I start saying that. And if I keep on the other side and keep just saying that, my God, like, how do I thank you for everything that you have given me? Or it could be really less, right? Because we have seen that in life that gratitude is not about really about what the person has externally. Because I personally remember, growing up, I was very close to my father's sister, my bua, and she was probably the least financially accomplished couple, person, she and her husband in a family. But the grace, the gratitude, the generosity that she had surmounts anything that anybody else had. So it's not about what you have, it's about what you think you have and what you're willing to give, right? So it's such a beautiful thing. I feel that because no matter where you are, there's always someone you will find who has less, right? That is a reality. But I choose not to look at it most of the times because it's more fun to be a victim. It's a sad thing to say, but we do that so often, right? And there's also a joke about this, like not about this, but it can be related that once somebody was shot between the eyes and he passed on. And two, three people came, villagers who were standing, and they said, oh, thank God his eyes were saved. It's like it was supposed to be a funny joke, but somebody who wants to have something to be grateful for, because what good would these eyes be, right? And now that he has gone, and yet there's always something, right? Like it's just it's so beautiful to be in that place of gratitude, because then I feel there's less chance of being dispersed in the unnecessary, because gratitude expands you, then you become more and you can do more, you can progress more from that space, while others are just I don't have this, I don't have that, and they take you to a different side. So I think it's a very important thing to practice and offer and aspire for. Okay, have more gratitude, have more gratitude. Yeah. Yes, Naveen.
Also, I also feel this is something amazing you have shared, Jasmine ji. Uh, because I've seen people have experienced firsthand, people who are just fixated on devotion part, and like they develop some kind of ego in them, and I'm not sure if they are progressing or they are digressing, because yeah, they are just in a fixed headspace that they are following something and they are above others. So yeah, I've seen. So that's a wonderful point you have shared. And so they, on the same topic, I wanted to discuss more, which I have also personally experienced. So when you have a gratitude, you become kind of more empathetic and sympathetic towards other yourself. So so now there's this confusion that I always have. You become more sympathetic, you become more empathetic. What I have felt is that if you So when you are like that, you want to help others, like become the better version of the better version, specifically of whom you care most, right? Whether it's an animal or a human. But then also, I've also realized when you interfere more, that's also not good for them.
Yes, Mayur, absolutely agree. So basically, like again, my own thing that I am just responsible for my, journey. Everybody has their own journey. And it's like, it's like, especially with kids, they say that they never hear what you tell them to do. They see what you are doing and they follow if they, so feel inclined. So they say, like become that light, become that candle that people are drawn to you, that they, kind of share your light. They want to glow like you. But if you tell somebody that, become a candle and glow like this, they'll be like that, what are you saying? Like, I'm doing fine. So this, I think, is a very big trap that a lot of us, most, many a times in our life get stuck by in the name of trying to help people. We lose what we are doing. But again, lots of, masters and mystics have said, so many, even, Ramana Maharishi, that there is no other. If you see something wrong in the other, just look at it in yourself, that if you're seeing it, it's you. If you, Tenzin Palmo, that we have mentioned sometimes now, we have, she's a Buddhist nun. And yeah, it didn't sound right description, but yeah, I'll go on. So she basically says that if you see something in the other, you what immediately you start practicing the opposite of it. So if you feel somebody is proud, your job is you start becoming more humble, because if you've seen it, that means there's something in you which has it. And automatically you also and the other person, like, but the other person, she says, it's not your domain, because you really can't do much, unless a person is willing and they see themselves, if they are seeking light, and they'll find you. But actively trying to help people is just something we kind of, we try to do, but it never really helps. And you rather do it, if you can do one thing, this say basically, get yourself out of the mess, right? Like if you want more peace in the world, make yourself more at peace, and the world will, will benefit from that and feel from that.
And also you mentioned about that ego, no? Mother speaks about it. I just skipped it actually because there are so many things. So it is there in the previous paragraph. If you go there, Tarun, actually, I read no. But there is another, that is in the previous thing. You have devotion and you keep your ego. And then your ego makes you do all sorts of things out of devotion. Things which are terribly egoistic. That is to say, you think only of yourself, not of others, nor of the world, not of the world, nor of the work, nor of what ought to be done. You think only of your devotion and you become tremendously egoistic. And so, when you find out that the divine, for some reason, does not answer to your devotion with the enthusiasm you expected of him, you despair and fall back into the same three difficulties I was just speaking about in the previous paragraph. Either the divine is cruel, we have read that. There are many such stories of enthusiastic devotees who abuse the divine because he is no longer as gentle and near to them as before. He has withdrawn. Why hast thou deserted me? Thou hast abandoned me, O monster. They don't dare to say this, but think it, or else they say, oh, I must have made such a serious mistake that I am thrown out, and they fall into despair. This actually will happen in the devotion, as you told, because it will be with full of expectations. I'm doing this, doing this puja, I'm doing all these rituals, and I expect something from the goddess. If it doesn't happen, yes, we'll blame the god. So the devotion is always with expectation. That's why mother is bringing about that gratitude. So that paragraph is very beautiful. There is another movement which should constantly accompany devotion, that kind of sense of gratitude. Yes, I read that. Yeah, beautifully pointed out. Yeah. And about the surrender also, she's telling it's also very beautiful. Then she finished with about that flower's meaning. Actually, I will read up to that. Is that time or we'll go next week?
No, there is time. Mayur, do you want to say anything? Like
Yeah.
any reflection coming to you on what was just discussed? Like, please, it's a beautiful thing. And if there's any further clarification or discussion.
No, I completely agree with what is written there. So yeah, I've experienced it firsthand. So yeah, I'm really aware about these things.
Yeah, perfect. Great. One thing about gratitude that when we were sharing, I just forgot to say that lots of time we are grateful after we lose something, right? Like we feel more closer to people after they pass on or they go away. Like, lot of times we take so much for granted, right? Say our bodies, like they are healthy. We don't even consider that to be such grace to have a healthy mind, healthy body, that we are always complaining, but once you start getting on that gratefulness train, it's like there's so many things that you can be grateful for. It shocks you and surprises you that, okay, I've been taking that for granted. And, again, like how Kabir says that, sukh mein sumran sab kare, dukh mein kare na koi. So again, I feel that about gratefulness, that if you're very grateful for what you have, you basically, I feel you are more alive when you live. And then you also don't have to wait for things to go away to feel grateful for them. Somehow we do that, right? Like it's surprising, but we do that a lot, that we wait for things to not
Yeah.
be with us before we can say that, oh, that was great, right? Yes, please, we can take the surrender now,
Yeah.
please. Yeah.
And next two or three paragraph you skip and
Okay.
but for this surrender to be total, no, I'll go the previous also. And now surrender. No, previous paragraph, Taru.
Yeah.
And now, yeah, from that. And now surrender. In English, the word is surrender. There is no French word which gives exactly that sense. But Sri Aurobindo has said, I think we have read this, that surrender is the first and absolute condition for doing the yoga. So if we follow what he has said, this is not just one of the necessary qualities. It is the first attitude indispensable for beginning the yoga. If one has not decided to make a total surrender, one cannot begin. But for this surrender to be total, all these qualities are necessary. And I add once more, for so far we have only four. This was previous, but she will mention it further. I add endurance. For if you are not able to face difficulties without getting discouraged and without giving up because it is too difficult, and if you are incapable, well, of receiving blows and yet continuing, of pocketing them, as they say, when you receive blows as a result of your defects, of putting them in your packet and continuing to go forward without flagging, you don't go very far. At the first turning, where you lose sight of a little habitual life, you fall into despair and give up the game. I'll continue the next because it is a continuation actually. The most, how shall I put it, the most material form of this is perseverance. Unless you are resolved to begin the same thing over again 1,000 times if need be, people come to me in despair, but I thought it was done and now I must begin again. And if they are told, but that is nothing, you will probably have to begin again 100 times, 200 times, 1,000 times. You take one step forward and think you are secure, but there will always be something to bring back the same difficulty a little further on. You think you have solved the problem, you must solve it yet once again. It will turn up again looking just a little different, but it will be the same problem. Yeah, I will stop with this. And just I want to share my experience in this. Yeah, about this blows. Definitely, no, actually, even after getting many blows, that realization comes that surrender is not a fulfilled surrender, I feel. And again, as mother is telling, the same difficulty will come again and again. Yeah, this happened in our family. There is a problem. So one person faced that problem. That time I got depressed and I prayed to mother, why it is all happening again and again. So okay, it got solved. And again it repeated, and again it repeated, again that lamenting, again that complaint, again going to that depression. This continued for a long time. Then I realized, no, this is not the way to complain and have that morose feeling and depression and everything. I have to learn some lessons from this. And that time only I started attending your sessions actually. Really, lot of gratitude again for that. That time Monica, I took a one-on-one session also with her. She told me everything is an experience. You have to take it as an experience only, not a bad and worst experience and a good and very good experience, not like that. So that gave me a, turning point actually. Yeah, then I came out of it and then I started surrendering those situations and those problems. Now I feel, I also see it's becoming less and less, that intensity, very slowly, but definitely. So when I read this, I felt really it happened actually. It's very, very true. Yeah.
At least our tendencies are so, ingrained in us that it takes a lot. It's like if something is really dirty, you will have to say, okay, I'll clean it once and I'll clean it second time. And like, it's like, but one, how mothers say, especially in our prayers and meditations, that the victory is certain, like begin from a place that your victory is certain. There is a 0% doubt that you will not succeed. And yet you will have to keep doing, it feels you're doing the same thing, but that's not really true, but it may appear to be that way. I was listening to some talk, Upanishads, the other day with my dad. And, somebody had asked about, progress and how it seems that I don't seem to be making any, something like that. And he had basically explained that, it's like this is where you are and something happens. You have an experience, there's a challenge which gets you here. So now the journey of every person, it's like every sadhak, let me say, is like this. And then you feel, oh, I'm again losing it. But it's like you're going like this. And then it was like again, you'll get an experience or a slap or, some thing. And then you're here and again. But, you just see yourself falling down again and you say that, oh, nothing changes. I'm here. But you're not here. You are here, and this is the journey, the falling down, the slipping again and again. And that is something that I honestly learned for the first time when I started reading Mother's Prayers and Meditation, that, oh, this is the path. That how, in Hindi, there's this beautiful proverb that says that ghur sawar hi girte hain maidane jang mein, as in it's the one who will ride the horse is the only one who will fall on the horse tracks, right? Otherwise, the people are just sitting on the sides and clapping. They are not living. So the one who is on the battlefield, he is the only one who will fall, and his role is to stand up again and again and again till there is breath in his body, right? It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
The beauty is actually beauty are it is though I mean I thought I was in the path. Really I was not in the path, but yeah, maybe I came to know about Mother because that is also because of Mother's grace only. But the question was very idiotic question. Now I realize it is idiotic question actually. Why these things are happening even after I come to you? That was the, that's a mind game actually. Yeah. That realization came after a long time. No, these are all experiences we have to go through. Yeah, that is the beautiful thing. Maybe it is all, evolution, no? For a person, maybe for one person, it will be very quicker. For some other, it will be very long journey. Yeah, that also I realized. I'm not regretting for it, but if I look back, I used to laugh now.
Yeah.
How foolish I was that time. Yeah.
No,
I had
think
the diamond in my hand without
Yeah.
realizing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying it's a beautiful realization that, my problem is that I'm too clever. Yeah, I know how I can manipulate the situation and how I can get this from that and that from this. Like, just a very small example, when we had done this topic of faith in
Mhm.
Harmony Circle, I don't know, I was sleeping and suddenly I felt that maybe my kid might topple over, and I was like, oh, I have faith in the mother, kind of freshly brimming with faith that he will not fall. And in a second, he falls. And my first thing is that, oh my God, I just said I have faith in the mother, and again my child fell from the bed. And in a second, I was, kind of something in me started laughing that the faith is not that he will fall. And, he will not fall, but the faith is that even if he falls, no matter what happens, everything is still all right. That is my journey, that is my thing.
Correct.
It's not about the bad will not happen.
Mm.
But it's like Acharya Prashant, I've sometimes mentioned him. He says this again, he says it in Hindi, and it's something like this that, give me so much pain that my chest bursts open, and give me a chest that will never, kind of burst open, ripped apart, like something like this. I was not able to say
Beautiful. Yeah.
nicely, but wishing for both things simultaneously.
Mm.
Yeah, Captain, I think you had unmuted. I'm sorry, I kept going on.
In fact, over the gratitude, a few thoughts came to mind. I was reading other day somewhere that every moment of our life, whether we are working or at rest or whatever may the time, 7 into 24, the gratitude we have to practice for a long time. Because once we are grateful to the God or whatever we believe in, and for everything, like when I have got my stent put in the heart. So when the doctor asked me at the time that you wanted to have a look, I said yes. So I saw that, and it has been recorded also. I saw that it's a very complicated thing, that heart is moving, and you can see that your own heart you are seeing in the scope, and it's moving, and it is continuously pumping blood. So there are so many things associated. If you read that it has got 4 chambers, then there are 8 openings, and all this and all this. And this God has given say as abundance, like oxygen, is on free oxygen. We don't value it. We are grateful to God. We don't say. But when in the hospital that oxygen is not there, at the time we are blaming God and everybody, the administration and all. So every moment of our life, it's a very complicated life we are leading to, and very very costly life we have got. In this life, we have been supported each and every moment by the Almighty, and this Almighty we don't believe in. We are so busy in our own affairs and all. We neither remember, and that gratitude has to be practiced actually every second. Somebody says each after half an hour you stop for a moment and think that the God, this last half an hour you're going to be the life, and I could do so many jobs and this and that. And all. Again after half an hour you say the God, thank God, thank you very much that I could have my lunch. Or God, thank you very much. So that practice has to be there. Anything and everything is happening. It is not my will and wish. Because of our ego, sometimes I feel that yes, I have done it, but actually it is not so. So then this gratitude comes, then the person slowly changes actually. And that Ramakrishna used to say that Ramakrishna Paramahansa, that if he was taking one step towards God, if he decides that this is my intention, this is my aim in life, and this I wanted to do, if you take one step towards that, he says God will come 2 steps. So you are more closer actually. So that progress, though there is no progress measurement, because like in the school, colleges and all, we used to get that examination done and we used to get a progress report. But here, the progress report is not there because I am all in all. Actually, now I have to see that whether I am progressing or I am going down. But this progress also can be measured because we are not much interested. Because I don't know why to waste time. I have decided that I have to go to the particular place. So Bhagavad Gita says that you put all your energy and whatever you have towards that. And once you decided that this is my aim in life, I have to realize God. And so just carry on. Whatever you have reached, where you have reached and all, you need not calculate the time. Or nowadays for everything there is an app. You need not apply any app or anything of this nature. That am I really moving on the forward line or I am going backward? That is not my duty to perform actually. My duty is to think that is everything is by the God's will, the things are taking place, and my path is this, and I have to follow this path. There will be ups and downs, as it has been said. It is sinusoidal. The it's up and down, up and down. It will go on, but definitely every day there will be progress, and that will be the experience actually over a period of time. Then when I realize at a later date, then probably will understand that yes, we've been moving in the right direction only. There is not a wrong direction. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Captain, thank you so much for saying that, because who has time to measure progress? There's so much to do, there's so much to learn, there's so much to be grateful for. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it can sound like a play of words, and yet it isn't. Yeah.
As you said, the road is she ends this with the victory actually. I'll skip other paragraphs because maybe the time, already it is time. I will end only with this. She gives the meaning for the champa flower, no? That is a psychological perfection. She gave these meanings: sincerity or transparency, faith or trust, devotion or gratitude, courage or aspiration, endurance or perseverance. One form of endurance is faithfulness to one's resolution. Being faithful, one has taken a resolution, one is faithful to one's resolution. This is endurance. There you are. If one persists, there comes a time when one is victorious. Victory is to the most persistent. Very beautiful it is actually. There are so many other things we will see in another satsang actually. I skipped so many paragraphs. Yeah, thanks.
this thing that, nothing is happening, I'm still there, or, it's that is also such a big distraction on the path that one has to constantly keep, try to stay away from that, because it just takes so much energy and wastes so much time, that it's really important to know that, it's like, yeah, I don't know how to even put it. It's really nice to keep, to be reminded of that the obstacles, the fall is the path. Yeah,
Yeah.
and not get
But
lost.
that gratitude is one thing for me personally. It kept on, I mean, encouraging me to go in the path actually. Yeah. If I say it is a path at that time, actually, at least that gratitude always waking me up from that slumber. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing. Actually. That also only through grace we will get. Otherwise, we won't have that quality also. Normally, human beings know it's very difficult to have gratitude, no? Actually, yeah. It's all the grace of Mother Divine only. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So till or Mayur, do you have anything that you would want to share before we end? Like anything from any master, any mystic, any reading?
Yeah, all I can say. So there's one more thing when you surrender. So you get having different perspective of things, right? So I've shared this story that happened with you, Tarun, not with other people here on this call. I love going on treks. So last year I went to Kashmir, and there's this trek that I was on, and Kashmir, like it was not winters, it was not snowy. It was like happened to snow, so it would have snown in just another month, but it was all greenery and something. And I was just trekking alone, and I see all these garbage that is there on trek. I start picking them, and at one point I'm just tired of picking everything, and I do not have place to even keep them. It's just there in my bag in my hands, and I reached to my saturation that what the hell is this? The place is so beautiful and we all litter it so much. So I was just sitting in this vast ground, and it was hazy, and I somehow started crying and seeing everything, and suddenly a light up. I mean that whole cloud clears and light starts appearing, and then realization comes and you have different perspective, like it's okay, there are people who litters and there are people who cleans. So also when you start surrendering, you start having different perspective of life.
Yeah. So somehow before that, we think that we know, right? And when we say, okay, we don't know, then we see things, right? That we were earlier on, maybe not seeing. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. A very powerful experience to have. And, yeah. Yes, Till, anything from your end?
I'm not quite sure. I think gratitude as I feel it also not especially working myself, but also feeling the connection in being blessed. Because when something happens, what you are normally have a basic gratitude for, sometimes you are just really helped and protected. And that is what is, that's to me gratitude. I had this morning, some days before this, I put a strike under the past and decided from now on, I really try, I aspire to live the yamas. I'm following the YES course, so I'm getting to know a bit about this. for the first time in this way. And that means that the past can be the past, that I can really, I'm being moved forward without any fear or without anger or whatever. And then this morning, I was in my car very early, and there was a situation where I had to put my foot on the brake and the brake didn't work. And well, there was a car coming towards me because it was a narrowing of the situation. And we both came to a stop exactly at the right moment. My car being not okay, but the other person also had anticipated. And that's when I really feel that, because inwardly I was really connected. And I felt so protected because all the participants in this situation were held in the good place and came out for the better. And it's not only when something happens that you feel gratitude, but to me it was an eye-opener after such a decision, not to have any fear, not to have any anger, not panicking. It was just what it was. And after that situation, the car went on safely. I mean, now it's in the garage to check up, but I think not much will come out of it because it was the situation, what it was about. That's what came to me when talking about gratitude. I'm always very, very grateful when I'm protected, when I really feel I'm protected, because that's in my system a big issue. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. But I think one also would slowly, want to accept that even when I feel I'm not protected, right? That is also, right? We were talking about the downs as well. If something good happens, I feel good. If something bad happens, I see, okay, what is it trying to teach me, right? What do I learn from this? So that full acceptance, and it's very tough for all of us. And one has to be constantly reminded that, we are not here for just comforts and joys, right? We are here to progress, like that they say is the main thing of a soul, right? Especially on the earth realm. This is the only realm in which there is psychic being, and the psychic being helps us in progress. So just to keep that in mind again and again, that yeah. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. I had a lot of my stuff too, but I'll just end with one line again from the mother. I think it's very beautiful. It's a very small thing, and
I
it
think I
says,
took a lot of time, no?
no,
Yeah,
no, no.
sorry.
It was beautiful. There's nothing there. I just keep things for backup. So I was reading a lot on courage, and this specific quote, I felt it was really implementable and beautiful. That there is no greater courage than that of recognizing one's own mistake. So just leaving us on this thing, we reflect on if there's anything we can, talk about it next week.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us on a Friday evening. It was beautiful as usual. And yeah, thank you. Happy Friday. Happy evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was
Everyone.
nice.
Yeah.
It was nice to
Thanks,
be with
everyone.
you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Nice
you.
to
Thank
meet
you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.